All right, so today we're going to talk about the Lee Pro Auto Disc powder measure. I got this primarily to try to speed things up because I use a single stage press for the most part. In the box, you get your powder measure and the auto disc system, and it comes with 4 different discs, and these discs are all different sizes. They all have decimals on them. It's CC measurements, and each one will be a different charge for not only size but in reference to what type of powder you're using too. You'll get a chart, and you can use it for a reference. I found that it's not exactly precise with some powders, and then others it is. But you can cross-reference like Hodgson, Alliant, Western, and Accurate powders, and you can match the charge up with what disc at the top of the chart you need, and that'll give you a reference point. After you kind of learn it, it's something, you know, if you've run that powder before, you kind of know if you need to overshoot or undershoot a little bit if you have that general idea already. Like I said, some powders will be a little bit under what it says on that chart. Some will be a little bit over, and then I've been lucky on a couple that are right on. What I've noticed is the finer the powder, the more accurate it is. So with the big flake powders like Unique, it can be a little bit inconsistent, to 2/10 either way. Now with the finer stuff like H110 or CFE pistol, tight group, it's dead on just about every time, to the fact that once I get it checked at the very beginning, I'll run 3 or 4 cycles and weigh those on a digital scale. And after that, I only check about every 10th one, because I know with those powders that it's going to throw it really, really accurately. You can also get a double disc kit. It's something you have to purchase separately. It's where if you want to do bigger charges for like rifle and stuff. Now, I'm not sure how this thing would behave with longer extruded powders, but I have an idea that it's probably going to behave better with a ball powder like H335 or something like that. But for somebody like me that's just single stage press working, and I don't have a progressive press right now, this thing was a huge time saver. I was able to increase my pistol load put out by a significant 3 or 4 times what I normally would by, throwing powder from the regular style powder measure and weighing every single charge. But like I said, now this thing with the bigger flake powders and stuff, and probably the extruded powders, you're going to probably not going to save much on there. Like if I run Unique, I just go ahead and weigh every charge, because it's kind of inconsistent. If you were in the middle of the road, you might be all right, but what fun is that if you're reloading? So I was going to give it a quick run just to kind of show you how it works. Now there's a downside. It only works with the Lee die set. On the pistol dies, because you've got this nipple on the end of your expander powder through die, where your funnel would normally go. Now to run this thing, you have to take that out, and it will actually thread right into the top of that. And I've already got this set where I want it. I'm loading some revolver rounds tonight, and I've already set that up for how much expansion I want on the bell of my case. Once you get this thing threaded down, it's got a adjustment so you can get it out of the way. You'll unthread these 2 brass nuts that hold the container itself or the hopper down, and then you'll have to look and see what disc you want. I already know which one for me, so I'm just going to set it up with the 1.02. All right, so kind of the way this works, you want, this is the 1.02 that I'm looking for. There's a notch here, and then there's the male end that goes into that on here, and it'll go. So the correct hole that you're wanting to use in this disc will go in the center here, because it's actually going to slide over to drop through the powder measure and down into the powder through die. Once you have that set, make sure it's locked in place. You take your powder hopper, put it back on. And you'll just thread your screws on snug. You don't have to try to, strip the threads out or crack the plastic, because the housing of this thing is plastic. Make sure everything's nice and snug. Then you can turn the hopper clockwise to close it, or counterclockwise to open it back up. And then once you get that done, you're gonna put your powder in there. It's probably way more than I'm gonna use, but nonetheless. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but I'm going to turn my scale on. Zero it out. Once you've got it set, this is kind of my go-to every time. I'll run 3 or 4 just to make sure it's reading correctly. All right, that says 15.5. And I'll just dump that back in the hopper. Sometimes that first one's a couple low because it's, you know, trying to get everything fed down. All right, that's showing 15.5. And one more, and 15.5, 15.4. We got a little variation there. It could be my scale. Yeah, it kiltered off. Just for good measure, we'll go ahead and re-zero it and do it one more time. All right, we're showing 15.4 and 15.5. And for what I'm doing, that's good enough for me. Like I said, so, you know, 0.1 grain variation for something that you're not going to have to sit and measure over and over and over. If you're loading 200 or 300 rounds of pistol, this would be very handy. It would save you a whole lot of time. I'm completely fine with the 0.1 variation. Sometimes I don't even get that. Like I said, sometimes if you're throwing a bigger flake powder, it could be 0.2 or 0.3, and you know, that might be an issue, especially if you're pushing up on the top of a pistol load or something. But anyway, I hope this is something that'll save you some time. It's definitely saved me some time. It's a good product, but you know, it's got its downfalls too. The biggest one being it'll only work through Lee's expander powder through die. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good product. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos on reloading equipment reviews and reloading how-tos.